Hi, my name is Anthony Perrier. I'm a businessman. I'm 27 years old and I drive a Mercedes E63 AMG. Or at least, that's what I'd like people to think, but that's not really the case. This car, actually, I bought it for 4,300 euros in Germany. Yes, it's a former German taxi. Yes, it's a German taxi. Yes, it's a German taxi. Congratulations, you figured it out on your own. And actually, like any other YouTuber, I live only for appearances. I have absolutely no self-respect. So obviously, driving a car that costs 4,300 euros doesn't really interest me. And just to give you a point of comparison, here's what the car looked like just a few months ago. So yeah, let's be honest. Now my E-Class looks absolutely insane. It looks like the real deal. That means it makes me look legit, like I'm actually running a real business. There's a problem. There's always a problem. It's that my desire to appear more important than I really am isn't satisfied. People absolutely don't give a damn and don't really look at an E63 AMG. But who would have thought, seriously? No, because if you haven't noticed, the car, visually, is a real E63 AMG. With the 19-inch rims, the bumper, the grille, the sculpted hood, the side skirts, the rear diffuser, the exhaust system, the exhaust tips. Everything makes you think of an E63 AMG, but nobody gives a damn. Look at what I did. Constant, a little edit.
Behavior, vibes are major. They don't want no heat, they don't want danger. Serial sager, he says burner. Bars on the mic, I'll make it to a turner. Respect earner, bums looking like a gourmet burger. Scene disturber, vibe interpreter. Energy reader, look how we're working up.
Yeah, well, okay, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Anthony, that's a totally ordinary car. It's just a 2.1 turbo diesel, maybe, if you want. But it's a totally ordinary car. You paid for it the price of a well-equipped, low-mileage Clio 3, while this is a piece of junk that now has 540,000 kilometers on it. Sure. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not satisfied in the end with the way people look at me. No one believes I'm a millionaire. Still not. So yes, things are getting serious now. We need to give the car more style. So, except for some purists and car enthusiasts who will say, wow, but that's an E63 AMG V8 biturbo. Most people don't care. Real car lovers quickly notice this isn't an E63 AMG. The brakes are tiny for such a large wagon, which is pretty annoying. And style really starts with a nice set of rims. So yes, you might say, but man, your rims are beautiful. They're 19 inches, they've got style, they look great, they're wide, they look aggressive. Well, I'm not saying otherwise, you know. But the thing is, now I'm into tuning. And once you get into tuning, that's it. You're stuck in it. Because as you probably know, my drift car is this one. A Mercedes C-Class S202. So it's also a wagon that's fitted with 4 18-inch Rotiform rims that I had machined and then refinished by Rimax. And it really looks extremely good. So yeah, I know what you're thinking. That's not a daily at all. It's not a car you drive every day. And putting such big rims on a car that's lowered like that and meant to be driven every day, it's stupid. Well, in this video, I'm going to prove you wrong by installing Rotiforms on my E-Class. As usual, I'm working, but it's super late. It's already dark, 5:44 p.m. I'm not sure we're done tinkering. Well, Amin just made an express delivery for me. Like I just told you, there's a new rim for the car. This is the start of the new setup, guys. All right, let me see. Go ahead, it's your honor.
You asked me for this at 1 in the morning.
My man, this is going to be incredible.
Should I come down?
Well, go ahead, huh? The size, 20 inches, 10 wide. This brand new, rims plus tires, 2,900 euros. Fortunately, we didn't buy them new. And yes, and like I just said, a huge thanks to Amin who brought me these rims straight from the Paris region. So these are Rotiform Alas are in 20 inches. So, the choice of rims, personally, I'm building my car for myself. I think it's exceptional. I'm a big fan of Rotiform. Some people say they're crappy rims. Some people say they're great rims. In any case, I think they're beautiful rims and they're expensive. So, in theory, they should be strong. But the problem is, they're really gigantic. Maybe I rushed things a bit. Just so you understand, this is a front rim, 20 inches by 8.5. That means technically it works because here it's 19 inches by 8.5 wide with an ET of 35. Here, it's the same except it's 20 inches. So except for the diameter, everything else is identical. The fit will be exactly the same, which is great because we're really flush with the fender. And that's what I love. It's when the rims are flush with the fender. On the other hand, I don't know who mounted these tires on these rims. It was for an Audi A6 all-road. And honestly, look, the tire is wider than the rim. And actually, we found this ad on Le Bon Coin because the guy bought them new. He bought new tires, he put them on his car and realized they didn't fit. But at the same time, he put on 255 wide tires with a 40 series sidewall. For an Audi A6, that's way too big. And as for the back, it's even worse than the front. There, it was completely obvious that it wouldn't fit. Do you see the size of the wheel? I mean, I don't know. Seeing it in person, I realized that it's really gigantic. We're discussing 20-inch wheels, 10 inches wide, not much bigger. They're just 0.5 inches wider than my current 19 by 9.5 set, also with an ET of 35. And here we're talking about 20 by 10 ET35. Christoph from the YouTube channel Miracle Motorsport, who gets a big shout out, says it will only stick out 6 millimeters more than now, which is a good sign. Because my station wagon, when it had its air spring leak, it got a little bit of negative camber. So I imagine that by lowering it, the 6 millimeters shouldn't be a problem. But here, again, the tire size is completely incomprehensible. We're talking about a 295/35/20. The tire sticks out from the rim by almost a centimeter. It's a stretched sidewall, but in reverse. But actually, without lowering the car, without camber, it can't fit. But you know what? We're still gonna try it on the E-Class just for fun, but I don't think it'll ever fit. Oh wow. What a great idea from Anthony. Wasting an afternoon to mount 4 rims with truck tires on your poor tired wagon. Fortunately, the off voice is here to spare the community from this suffering that would last several dozen minutes. So, since sometimes Anthony is logical, he asked Vartan to remove the tires, and Vartan removed the tires, and Anthony ordered new tires. Special tire episode. Alright guys, we're meeting again a few days later, after a few long days. So, here we are, as you recognized, at Auto HV in Bourg-les-Valence. I brought him my 4 rims. It's great to have the rims, but we're not just going to mount the rims. We need tires. And that's perfect, because the tires are here. I found 4 Firestone Firehawk Sport tires on the internet, on a site everyone knows. Why this brand? Well, because it's not a crappy brand. It's about half the price of Michelin, making it perfect for our goal of just driving the car. How did I find the tires? Many websites provide information. You enter your original and desired sizes, and they show diagrams and sketches. I'll share the links I used in the description. It's always helpful. So here, for the front tires, 225/35/20. That's Vartan laughing and holding the camera. The real challenge is going to be the rear tires because we're dealing with 245/30 R20 on a 10-inch wide rim. I'm not sure if you can show the tire thickness here. What do we have? Maybe 2 centimeters of sidewall? That's today's challenge, guys. Mount these 4 tires on the rims so we can obviously try them on the car. Let's go.
You know we're on that grind, disruptive here from time, shaking up the norm, you know why. Original tell you why, basic yo, that's your guy. I got different hands and pies, international ties, in the studio till sunrise. You know we're on that grind, disruptive here from time, shaking up the norm, you know why. Original tell you why, basic yo, that's your guy. I got different hands and pies, international ties, in the studio till sunrise.
That's it, I'm back from Vartan Auto HV. As usual, a huge thank you to him for agreeing. Basically, here's how it goes when I work with Vartan. I take my car, I arrive, I say, can you mount 4 tires for me? He says yes, he says no, whatever. And this time, he said yes. So that made me really happy, because we've already seen the rims, but not with tires. Now it's crazy. Be careful not to break your leg on the mess on the floor. There's a bit of a mess here right now. Gearbox, yeah, we're doing the clutch and flywheel on the 3008. It's a bit of a pain, huh? I show you all of that, by the way, on TikTok and Instagram. It's really a pain. What do you think about it? Is it something you like or not? Anyway, Rotiform rims, Firestone tires, I'm really happy. So, there's just one thing that bothers me a little with these rims. Well, bothers me. It's not a big deal. It's just a detail among many others. Did you notice in the middle there's a center cap with a fake center lock nut? Well, it's a pretty perfect replica of the real single nuts that you can find on rims with real single nuts. It shows the tightening torque, when you should stop, which way you should turn to tighten or loosen it, and so on and so on. And I think that's super cool. The only problem is that normally on single nut rims you have 2 lefts and 2 rights, one with a normal thread so clockwise and one with a reverse thread so counterclockwise. Why? Because otherwise, with speed, inertia and all that, it unscrews itself on race cars. And here, in this case, well, I have 4 normal threads. So, first, my covers are going to come loose, so I'll have to find a way to fix that. And secondly, actually there is no secondly. We're going to try the rims on the car. I'm really happy. Hugo, I don't know if you can see it, but I can. Imagine the car a bit lower. That's coming later in the video. I'm excited. You should know that this project was another spur-of-the-moment thing. It wasn't planned, not even on the schedule. I came across these rims. You know the rest. Alright, I'm lifting the car. Let's go. Man, this is crazy, you know, yeah, so you have to imagine a bit of wow, it really fills out the fender, it's just insane, you know. Anthony, didn't you want to make a daily driver? Yes, I wanted to make a daily driver, yeah. I'm going to need another daily driver. I put myself through some pain sometimes, but this, on the other hand, is beautiful. Enough talking. Front rim, center nut. Man, this is going to be crazy. Alright, it's the next day. I thought about it. I found some solutions. Yeah, here, we're really onto something phenomenal. Well, if you look closely from the back, I don't know if I can show you properly. We've got some negative camber, which is excellent. It's exactly the look I wanted. No, but I'm really happy. The fit is really perfect when the car is lowered. In the front, when the car is lowered too, it won't be as great compared to the back, where the fit is really awesome, you know. I think we'll add a bit of camber and some spacers, and the fit will be pretty much the same as in the back. It'll be really, really good. Alright, so this is what it looks like when the car is raised to normal height. It's a lot less nice, you know, so in the front, nothing has changed since there are springs in the front. We only have air suspension in the back, but overall, I'm still really happy with how it turned out, you know. This will be the ideal height for daily driving, and if I want it lower, there are several options. The first option is to change the rear height adjustment links and put lowering springs in the front. That's fine, but honestly, it's kind of a crappy solution. Let's be real. Because if I ever attach a trailer, the front will always be lowered, the rear will lift, but not by much, and then it'll be soft because it's not designed to be less inflated. So it'll be too soft and it won't be comfortable. The only real solution is a fully custom kit for the car with airbags in the front and rear, electronic management system, a new compressor, a new tank. In short, you get the idea. I'd really like to install a full air suspension kit on this E-Class. A few days have just passed, maybe even a few weeks I'd say. The rims have been chosen, and of course we're not going to leave the car as it is. Anyway, you can see it on the timeline, there's still maybe 30 or 40 minutes of video left, I don't know. We're definitely not stopping now, there's still plenty to do. I'm not sure if I mentioned it at the start, but I know I said it many times. The car originally has air suspension in the back. One day I called a well-connected friend who said, "Not coilovers, that's stupid, you'll lose all the comfort of air suspension. Most importantly, you'll lose the ability to adjust your car's ride height while towing, which is ridiculous. You should get air suspension." But this guy didn't mention he was selling it. Anyway, that's another discussion. So I just got a package that arrived today. I received this. And look, there's a logo. And by the way, isn't this the most messed up intro in YouTube history?
But it doesn't matter. We don't care.
Hello?
Nice to meet you, sir.
Hello?
Isn't that the famous movie Hello?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right.
Friends, here is Peter. So I think you understood what was in those boxes. I've been waiting for this for years. So not now. I'm not saying that RWP takes years to deliver, but I've wanted to install an air kit for years. And friends, I think the day has finally come, actually, quite simply. Joking aside, I called Peter one day and asked who he could recommend for air kits. It got a bit awkward. I didn't understand why.
Well, actually, if I may explain.
Of course.
We sell air kits, but we haven't communicated about it yet because it's just one of the billions of things we still have to do.
They're going to come, you know.
There you go. So actually, I thought we'll go ahead. If you want one, we'll make one for you, and we'll use what we're doing right now to announce that we're making air kits and talk about it.
So guys, right now we're announcing that RWP is making air kits, and we're going to talk about it.
This is the first one we made, and we're opening it together.
I'm very happy.
It's been at home for days, and I haven't opened it.
I just tore the plastic slightly to place the sticker here.
Yes.
So just to be clear, before you get all fired up in the comments, this isn't really sponsored. I still spent money to get this kit. There are several kits available for W212, S212. But when Pierre told me he was making some, I thought, if we can work together, get our friends involved, and support a French company that's putting some thought into it, that could be cool. Because there are plenty of people who do it really well, we know that. Now, we'll see how this turns out. I'm really looking forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you for trusting us.
Wow. Okay, wow, that's beautiful.
I'm proud of that.
It's beautiful.
The biggest tank, just like you asked us for, by the way.
That's really nice. Yeah, because actually it's a big car and all. I didn't want the compressor running 24/7, and I think with this, we've got a bit of leeway. I think we can do a cycle.
Almost 2, I think. Yes.
So basically here we chose a kit. There were several versions available. There are what we call manual controls and electronic controls. Manual control is really simple. You have a remote or at least 2 switches up and down. A pressure gauge shows front and rear pressure, and you control everything from there. I thought, this is still an E63 AMG, a millionaire's car. We need to do this right. So we used an electronic control system with multiple presets. The man behind the camera can probably explain more.
That's right. So basically here you've got the best with the little remote control, the settings. Everything can be changed right on a small screen. You'll see.
In my opinion, based on the box's weight, we're getting into the tough stuff now. The rear airbags. So I'm really happy. The airbags, I put in new airbags 3 months ago. Great. Well, the operation here is pretty simple, you know. The air comes in here and goes out there. This inflates and deflates. This isn't the shock absorber. This is actually a spring. That's it, a pneumatic spring just like the original. And we also have here, I think, the 2 rear shock absorbers. Actually, I'm sure of it. Because the front uses coilovers. Be careful. Many mistake what a coilover is. A coilover isn't just a filtered coilover. Originally, cars had coilovers. That means the shock absorber and the spring are in the same unit. Wow, man, beautiful rear shock absorbers, guys. Of course, there are 2 of them. So here, same thing. I'm picky. So I told him, I want to adjust my front camber. The rear is cool because the Mercedes has a triangulated setup. When you lower it, the wheels tilt just right. That's exactly what I wanted. But I don't think that's possible at the front. So, to make up for it, I wanted adjustable camber.
In any case, now you have the adjustment.
In any case, I have the adjustment.
You can't have more adjustment than what I did for you there. Wow, yeah, I'm happy. It's beautiful though.
It's really, really nice. I think we're doing pretty well. So that was the very visual, very cool box. Now we're getting to the box we don't want to open. It's clearly the box that's going to be a pain.
Electronics, you're going to spend hours on it.
Well, it doesn't scare me, but...
You wanted it.
I wanted it.
It takes effort, but finishing it is satisfying.
Exactly. It's this box that's pissing me off. I'm telling you, that's it. There are seams everywhere.
The little air gaps.
So yeah.
The little manual.
Ah, yeah.
And here...
That's our management system.
Yeah. So look at the nice little remote control.
Because you see, it's you too. It's the first time you're doing it.
And I'm discovering it. So I'll check with you to make sure everything is fine. And let's say you're going to be kind of our beta tester client.
After these dazzling details, Anthony kept unpacking discouraging things, gradually proving that he would never be able to assemble them. Meters and meters of hoses, hose fittings, fitting clamps, meters of hoses, clamp fittings, hose connectors, and finally a compressor. It was with the immense joy visible on his face that he decided to thank Peter. Well, I'm really happy, Peter, thank you. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's very hot.
Thank you very much.
But thank you.
So don't hesitate, I'll put all the links in the description. Of course, you see here, at least you can put a face to a brand. That's really cool. All the links will be in the description. Obviously, you will also have the follow-up of...
I'm more available for 6 months. Don't call me.
He'll stop replying, but honestly, I'm really happy.
No, but it's going to be crazy because when it's installed, man, you're going to love it.
In order to forget the ordeal that awaited him, Anthony decided to take a bit of totally undeserved rest by going to the other end of Europe. We are currently in Poland. We just traveled 1,457 kilometers and we are in the small city of Wrocław. It's written Wrocław, it's pronounced Wrocław. Why is that? Guys, it's the Ultra C. The stadium is right behind me. You won't get a dedicated video about the event, but I'm really happy to be here. It wasn't really planned for me to be here in the end. Anyway, come with me. We left Poland. We're in another country now. We're at the Nürburgring. Hey, no, Anthony, you won't be driving on the Nürburgring. He went there when it was closed. What an idiot. Back to the workshop, totally disappointed. Serves him right. 3,136 kilometers, 34 hours and 49 minutes in this vehicle for an average of 6.4 liters per 100 kilometers. Honestly, amazing. I couldn't have dreamed of a better car. No problems, zero, nothing, not a thing. One problem. Admittedly, one problem. When I told you about the Rotiforms, I said that the cap there looks cool, but it's poorly designed because it's screwed on. When you drive, it unscrews itself. And after 3,100 kilometers, it happened. I'm driving, and I hear Fink, ding, 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 bling, ding, ding, bling, ding, and I look in my rearview mirror. I see something red speeding away and a Class A with German plates passing by. We'll have to find a solution, so that's what it means. On the other hand, today, as long as it's not 39 degrees, because I'm not lying, it's nice to work when it's cool, but maybe I didn't come early enough. It's 5 in the morning. It's already hot. That's the plan. Well, today's plan isn't really to install the air kit, you know? It's more about figuring out how to install the air kit, because Piotr is a nice guy, you know? Right now, there are about 850,000 parts on the table, and they all need to go on the car. First, I have to figure out where each part goes. At least I know roughly where the 4 shock absorbers belong. But as for everything like the tank, the management system, the compressor, I have a rough idea, but there's quite a bit of work to do. And when I say there's a bit of work, yes, I really mean it. For me, the whole point of a station wagon is to have a freaking huge cargo space. Just so you know, when I went to Poland, I just took the mattresses from the converted Defender and put them in the trunk. That's it, I slept like a freaking baby. So, there's absolutely no way I'm going to block off the trunk with a big tank and a big ugly compressor that would stop me from opening the flat floor and keep me from putting mattresses in. I want the car to stay functional and the setup to stay discreet. Well, yeah, there's a flat floor, we can just put it here. Yeah, but no, because here there's some kind of big thing that's used for something. I don't know, it should be written on it. I don't know what it's for. I don't know, The thing is, originally, there's no tank, it's just the compressor. When the airbags run out of air, it refills them. The whole system, a big box with the compressor, hoses, and controls, is under the car. That will be removed since I won't need it anymore. Of course, but I can't afford to put the whole RWP setup under the car. I want it to be inside the car. So, the only way I found is this one. So, first I have to take this apart. That big thing there, which is useless. It should say what it is on it, but it doesn't. It's 11 in the morning, it's insanely hot. So, wait, I said it was 5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, I don't remember. 6 hours! I've been doing this for 6 hours. Well, yes, after that I did quite a few things. First, next time you might doubt that a windshield could come off. The answer is no, it's not possible, because actually that black canister that was in the back of my trunk and was supposed to protect the tank from nothing. Nothing, you got it, it's the blue 10. It's nothing, it was glued in place. Even after removing 4 screws, nothing changed. There was a 1 centimeter bead of windshield adhesive around it. After a while, there was a conflict of interest. Anthony, you can't put the blue 10 back in your car, that's true. There you go. So, actually I cut the thing into 4 pieces, then I cut everything I could and cleaned off the glue. All that to make space so I can make a flat bottom. Why do I want a flat bottom? Well, to make myself a nice clean setup. Actually, I'll keep the original part in my head that folds back, and underneath there will be a flat bottom, let's call it technical, that won't be used or have anything attached like before. And then I'll make a kind of wooden box that will fit the shape of the car. You see, I'll try to make something pretty neat with carpet everywhere and everything. It's going to look really nice. And so the tank will be all the way in the back and the compressor will be in front with the little control system and everything. I think it could be really, really nice. But I still don't know if the tank will fit because I asked Peter, give me a big tank, but it's big. The big tank. I'm a little worried about that. Basically, it should look something like this. Well, it fits, so the idea is that this thing will be raised up a little so that it comes just under the floor. It's going to be really nice. I really can't wait to move forward with this. It needs to move forward. First, I need to make a flat bottom. So now, I'll need to take the measurements, cut a sheet of metal, paint it on both sides so it can't rust. I'll also paint this thing. I'm going to remove the battery holder, the ECU holder, and the fuel tank support. I'm going to really clean it up, maybe even give it a proper coat of paint, so we can really start from a clean base, but it's going to be good. Ah, yeah, you would have thought I was talking to a child. Yeah, I'm happy.
You got down.
And maybe 1 or 2 days have just passed, I don't remember exactly. And guys, I've made a lot of progress on the trunk. Wow, damn, it's completely unrecognizable. Did you see it from above there? No, it's awesome. What I did, quite simply, was to paint the entire trunk compartment, which is actually a spare wheel well. But here in this case, the spare wheel well has been replaced by an air tank compartment. You see, that's an air tank in black. So on top of that, it's a kind of Raptor style paint, a bit grainy, so it actually looks pretty good. Obviously, since we removed the tank, we had a big hole, so instead of that hole, I made a metal plate that's screwed in and sealed with silicone, with Sika. It looks really, really clean. It's painted underneath as well. It's painted on top too. Everything is treated against rust, so I was also able to treat the car, which was starting to get a bit of rust. I'm really happy, so yeah, it looks extremely good. We also removed the useless control unit, making things look cleaner. And now, the goal, you see, I bought this large sheet of plywood that's 12 millimeters thick, and I also bought, as you can see, a roll of black fabric. So the idea is to cover our wooden box with this nice black fabric, kind of like Alcantara. It could look really, really nice. And the goal will be to make a kind of structure that's higher here, so it comes right above the battery. I think that could work pretty well. Then the compressor will be mounted in a certain way, and the control unit will also be mounted in a certain way. And then here the structure will go back down and our compressor will be able to fit under the original trunk hatch. I can understand that explaining it like this might seem a little abstract. In my mind, it's extremely clear. There are still a few points I need to think about, so that's one thing. I'll also use this chance to run my big 12-volt positive cable directly to the front battery. I don't want to connect to the auxiliary battery, even though it's technically at 12 or 14 volts. This one is also at 14 or 12 volts, but I think there's a relay or something between them that sometimes cuts the charging circuit. So we'll connect to the main battery. That's the smartest choice. I'm very happy and looking forward to it. Same thing with this wooden floor making project. I'm probably not going to film everything for you because it might get a little boring, but I'll show you the progress. Let's get started. Tadoum, this is a transition. The next day, the board got a good jigsaw cut right in the nose because the progress really progressed well, but that's not how you say it. Look.
Oh.
Here's what it looks like. I'm really happy. At first, I already wanted to make myself a really nice clean box for the whole trunk. The reality is that just to do this, the measuring, the template, fitting it perfectly all around the battery, all that already takes hours of work. I don't want to, quote-unquote, waste even more time, so let's say this will be a version 1, not perfect, since it's already Saturday. The video comes out in a week. I'm not done struggling yet. I think I'll still have a few surprises throughout the assembly. When I say surprises, I mean things that should take an hour end up taking a whole day. It's rough, but that's where we are right now. I'm actually really happy because I did this with my dad. You should know that I've never really shared tuning or cars with my close family. We talked about it from time to time, but they never really experienced this thing. Here you see this place, the tuning, the cars, all that. They didn't fully understand what happened when this started. Now I'm really happy. Today I spent about 4 or 5 hours doing this with my dad, and it was cool. That was my little moment to talk about my life. Honestly, I'm really happy. So basically, I really wanted to hide the compressor. I wanted for us to only have the tank and the controls visible and for the rest to be hidden. The reality is like this, it's really good. It's functional, pretty nice. And above all, it didn't take me 8 days. And that's really cool. Maybe there will be a version 2 that's a bit nicer, but honestly, it's really not bad. So this is my wiring harness for the backup camera. We'll make a small notch here in the board. It'll go underneath. You should know that between our wooden floor and the new steel floor of the car that I made, we have 5 centimeters, which is more than enough to hide our wiring harnesses, to hide our hoses, etc. It's going to be really, really cool. Enough talking, I'll continue my little installation and then I'll get back to you. I think when it's done, because it's far from being the most interesting part for you, I really want to show you the whole part about replacing the shock absorbers and all the part about running the hoses, etc., and especially the first startup of the system. That's what's really interesting, I think. But in the meantime, it's just decoration here. We don't care. Transition the next day. Or maybe tomorrow, morgen, mañana. It's the next day, and today I really want to take care of and finish the electrical installation for our air management system. That's a lot of complicated words with more than 2 syllables. But honestly, it's pretty easy. Let me explain. So first of all, the kit comes with a manual, and especially in the manual, there's this diagram that's super important and super interesting. I'll let you take a look at it, in case you're interested. And if you're not interested, I'm just wasting a bit of your time. It's no big deal. Basically, what it's telling us is that first, what we need to do is connect this big cable with this big fuse to the front battery of our car. I mentioned the front battery because I also have one for the car's accessories, already connected to the trailer wiring harness and backup camera, since it was easier than installing them elsewhere. But actually here, I want a real positive after ignition on a big battery that won't discharge easily. So we're going to connect it here. So we'll need to find a spot to run our big cable, and potentially it'll be here because we already have a big cable. So maybe we can drill a bit more through the cable grommet and get it to go through the back. By the way, speaking of the back, I've already cleared out some of our stuff and I think it's doable. So obviously this big red cable will need to be routed, I think here under the door sills, and that should bring it out here with our big wiring harness, which goes all the way to this battery. Maybe I'm making things harder than necessary and could just put the harness here, but I don't want to. Another interesting point is our air management, which is just behind. It has a plug, it has a little terminal, and actually, if you didn't get it, the controller is what will distribute the air coming from the tank, which will come in here and there between the 4 shock absorbers. It's a 4-corner system, which is cool because each wheel adjusts independently. And then, it will also be pretty cool when driving, since you won't necessarily feel the bumps at the front, the back, and so on. It sounds a bit weird when I say it like that, but I've done quite a bit of research on air suspension kits for cars. A 1-way or 2-way management system isn't as effective as a 4-way system. So anyway, behind your management system, you have this box that will redistribute power, information, and grounds to a lot of places. First, here we have the grounds. So that's going to be relatively very easy because the management system will be here. And you see that we have a ground screw here, so that's going to be very easy. Here, we have a small box with a little fuse that needs to go to terminal number 30 on the relay. And the relay is right here. You see terminal 30, it's here, it's this one. And by the way, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that on terminal 30, we're also going to connect the other side of our big positive wire. And so the relay, you see, will be able to send the power directly through this by going through this little fuse. So it's really well thought out. It's really not bad. We should also find an ignition switched power source and connect it here to another terminal on the relay. And for the switched positive, it should be pretty easy because normally the cigarette lighter is powered after the ignition is on. And we also have this big black wiring harness that will be used to connect to something very interesting that I've actually already attached to the car. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk a lot at the beginning of the wiring part, but after that it'll get much better because it'll start running on its own. The small air management remote where you can save 5 presets. So, I already have a few ideas, but we'll come back to that later. And basically, underneath here, there's a socket. You know where the black cable will go, which is great. I use double-sided tape, so if it works, it'll stay. Otherwise, we'll make a 3D printed holder, or if needed, put it in the armrest. I just liked having it here so you can easily keep an eye on it. If one day we ever have a leak, we'll see it right away since we'll have a drop in pressure on the screen and so on. So that's pretty good. Well, I think it's time. We'll run the main power cable from the front to the back of the car. Look at how beautiful that is. It's magnificent. Here we have our little permanent plus 12 cable that's in the trunk. That's really cool. It's going to look really neat. Then all the cables, you get it, will go under the wooden board. Everything will be completely invisible. So the cable, it's really easy. I've put the little wooden board back here to show you what it's going to look like. Maybe here, I'll make a little protective plate to hide the red cables that aren't very aesthetic. That's right. So there you go. It goes under the back seat. There's a hole coming out of the trunk, a small hole that goes under the seat. So our cable comes out right here, just like the original cable. Then I ran it under the carpet by removing the little plastic trims. You see, it goes through here. I know it's not necessarily the cleanest installation in the world, but I think it'll be functional, and that's the most important thing. Here, it also goes under the carpet and comes up through the firewall right here. And I'm really happy with the setup. Then we have the big fuse that will be hidden next to the battery. And then, to have the best possible connection, I'm going to connect it directly to the positive terminal of the battery. At least we're sure it's the most direct, it's the cleanest, it's the best way. Now, while I'm at it. Yes, I'm going to run the cable using exactly the same method for the remote control. And then it's going to be really awesome. I really can't wait. So I know I haven't filmed a lot so far about installing the air kit, but we're definitely going to make up for it during the disassembly and reassembly part, because technically the electrical system is almost finished now. It's really not complicated. Next, we can tackle the pneumatic system and then take off the 4 original shock absorbers to install the 4 RWP shock absorbers. I'm really happy. I'm a little nervous about adjusting the height and stiffness since it's new to me, but we're going to learn. I'm excited. I worked hard. It's time to see if my electrical system works. Right now, it's a mess, even though I did clean up quite a bit. The big connectors from the empty tank that were used for the engine went under the foam that was under that partition there. So now they're not in the trunk at all anymore. Obviously, there will be some cable management to do in this trunk, but the management system is connected. The tank pressure sensor is connected. Now it will think the tank is empty, I guess. Nothing is connected to the management system, but that's fine. The compressor has its positive and negative all wired to my relay. We'll try turning on the car ignition. I'm curious to see what happens. I don't know if the compressor will start up right away when I turn on the ignition, or if something different will happen with the remote, okay? Yes. The compressor starts immediately and will run without inflating anything since there's no tank. I'm curious about the remote. Okay. Well, I can already see a few little options, indeed. We have zero pressure everywhere. Yeah, well, it can't do anything. It works. It's really cool. So now my next goal is going to be finishing the trunk, installing the tank, connecting the tank to the management system, and run 4 hoses from my management system that will go under the car. The hoses will probably be way too long. I'll leave myself a margin of maybe 1 meter per wheel because they gave me like 800 kilometers of hose, so that's cool. And once I have air that can go to all 4 corners of the car, that's when things get serious. It's annoying, you know? It's really annoying to install an air suspension kit, you know? Oh man, it's a pain. And it's the next day again. I did a bit of cable management. It's pretty neat. I'm pretty happy. At least now the plate can really sit properly on my floor. By the way, speaking of the plate, here's what it looks like now. You can start to see that something's going on. It's really cool. I made some small holes here to run our little air hoses through from here, except I'm not sure if I'm going to use that, because the goal would be to drop the air hoses into this hole here. And then, under the plate, they can go through this partition, so roughly around here, except actually I did this without really looking under the car. Anyway, so it's going to be a bit tricky with the big camera, but it should drop into this partition here, so that wouldn't be bad. What we should do is put the plate in place and put the hoses in place. And really see where we're going to drill the body so it's as clean and practical as possible, because of course the hoses shouldn't be bent. Now it's going to start getting technical. And so now is when I really start filming all the steps for you. Anyway. You see the sheet metal we saw below is this one, but in the end we can drill this, but the plate comes up to this level. So yeah, we should be able to drill here. Run the hoses under the board, so through the small opening, like this, and then under the car. And you know what? Let's get to it now. We're going to drill. I'm tired of this. It's taking too long. It's starting to drag on. It's starting to annoy me. Let's drill. We're going to make 4 openings here. With 4 little cable grommets. We can use this kind of thing. I can put it for you in the description. This is really interesting. You see, I can run my cables through there, and on top of that, I can glue the grommets in place so it's really watertight. You make a small cut in the middle, you run your hose through, you run your cable through, there's no risk of the hose getting cut, and the kit really costs next to nothing. Yeah, it's from Amazon, let's be honest. I'll add the link in the description if you're interested. It's used to plug holes and also to make holes for running things through. We have a hose with a 6mm outer diameter and a 4mm inner diameter. We're choosing a small similar grommet. This one looks good to me. Because actually, you see, this is made in such a way that there's a little extra thickness in the middle, and basically we're going to measure the inside with a caliper. That way we make the hole with that diameter. This one feels perfect. And then we're good to go. Honestly, I'm a bit excited. I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to get excited. So here, after measuring, it's definitely 12mm in diameter. You see the inside of the lips. So now we'll need to make 4 holes of 12mm. This is the moment of truth. It goes on like this. There. Here. It's stuck because of this bundle. Yeah, that's it. I really made the board fit tightly. That's when you tell yourself that a little less tight is good too, right? Okay, so here my wires fit well into the notch. It's stuck. Yeah, well, once it's in place, man, it's not going to move. Right. Unless I get rear-ended by a semi-truck, it won't budge. Damn trailer wiring harness. There you go. There you go. It fits like that. Honestly, there are several solutions. I could use this small opening so the hose goes in here, drops there, and then goes behind. Or I can just run it straight back there into the partition. Honestly, that's by far the simplest way. Because that means if I want to remove this panel, I have to unscrew the hoses and run them underneath. Well, the problem is pretty much the same. Might as well keep it clean and run them through that hole. I'll mark roughly where I want my hoses with a marker. There we go, like this and like that. Now, we take out this board that weighs 400 kilos, and there you go. There you go, it's actually pretty easy. You just had to tilt it a bit. And there you go, the nice holes. So now, the idea is very simple. Wait for it to dry, put in the little eyelets, and then we connect the hoses. The goal is going to be to fit in as many hoses as possible, the most unlikely length possible, even if it means doing them one by one. That way, I put in the little clamp, we'll do it like that. Let's go. Well, as you saw, that's it, it's in place. What I'm going to do now is, with my little drill, I'm going to drill my eyelets to 4.5. That way the 6mm hoses will fit in with a bit of force and it'll be watertight around the hose. And now that that's done, I'm going to go under the car and start attaching some relays here and there. That way I can secure this hose and have it go all the way to the left rear airbag. And there you go. The first hose is in place. Now you can see it goes into the board and fits into the system like this. And you see, once you're under the car, our hose should be, where is it? It's hanging right here, which should normally give us enough slack to reach the end of the airbag, since the end of the airbag is right here. So now, the goal is to do exactly the same thing on the other side. Not very complicated in the end. On this side, we had the exhaust shield, so I'm just running it over the top. I'll put 2 or 3 clamps to hold it in place. It doesn't vibrate, so it won't get cut over time, which is important since a cut hose is a problem. We'll need to repeat this process all the way to the front, and these modern cars have plastic covers everywhere. Hiding the hoses all the way to the front should be easy, at least on paper. Alright, that's done. Now we have a hose coming in here. And actually, you see I'm making it follow the brake hoses. And here, in this case, the ABS sensor. So it's using the original routing. You see here we have an extra passage. I believe this section, which I'm pointing to, is for models with front and rear air suspension, like the E63 I had an unused spot here, so I attached my hose and secured it with this. This was what we originally had. So it basically looks like a fuel hose that's been split all along, and honestly, it could very well be something like that. And actually, it opens up like this, it's split. And I simply slid my air hose inside it to protect it at the sensitive spots, like where I put the zip ties. And then, you see, I can show you. Under the car, I unclipped all the plastic covers, and I actually ran my hose along the brake lines to get it all the way to the front. It looks pretty clean, and I think it's not sketchy at all. Actually, don't hesitate to tell me in the comments if you've ever done air setups on your cars. But actually, I have a question. First, did you run your lines inside the car to reduce risks, or outside like I did? I think I did it correctly. But I'm thinking, if one day I hit something under the car, wouldn't there be a risk of crushing my hoses? Poof! Yeah, honestly, if it crushes my hoses, it means it already destroyed the brake lines, the exhaust, the drive shaft. Yeah, poof, honestly, there's not much risk, really. That being said, I still have the front passenger side left to do. I'll take care of that, and then we'll move on to the most interesting part. I'm talking about the shock absorbers. Okay guys, I'm extremely tired, and the editor too, you see, it's really late. I'm making you think I'll install the shock absorbers easily. But honestly, I'll really struggle since I'm not a professional. Actually, I noticed that in most of my videos, nothing really happens. I mean, for 2 weeks, I'll be filming, making progress, doing a bunch of things at the same time here and there in the workshop. I'll do an oil change on the 406. I'll waste time on TikTok for 2 days. And then, suddenly, I realize the video is coming out in 5 days. I'm nowhere near ready. So I get serious about it. And then I set myself some dumb challenges. Right now, it's 1 in the morning. I've decided not to leave the workshop until the car is back on the ground. It's probably silly, right? Now, I just have 2 air springs, 2 shock absorbers, and 2 front coilovers left to install. I've already done the hardest part. The rest was just annoying. Removing the shock absorbers was pretty easy. Sway bar link, 3 nuts on top, 3 bolts at the bottom. I'm just gonna grab the impact wrench, all the sockets, and I'll go rat-tat, 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 rat-tat. You do a very dynamic montage, like rat-tat, 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 and the shock absorber drops. Music. The shock absorber drops, and that was easy. And already there's a huge difference in size. First of all, if we install it like this, as things are, the car loses about 16 centimeters. That's not what we want. Since now we have the air cushion that will replace the spring and will allow us to lower the car. So the first adjustment I can possibly make. You good, bro? There was a butterfly there, but it's gone now. No, the food. Food is more important. You see, animals have basic needs just like us, right? Eating. Where are you going with this? I bet the editor, watching with his Red Bull or Monster, is thinking, this guy is totally crazy. We'll adjust it to match this height for now and fine-tune later. With the airbag fully inflated, I want the height to match the original or maybe be slightly higher. Right now, I already scraped the curbs when parking at the original height. So with the airbag fully inflated, I want the car to sit higher. I've never done this before, so don't judge. Right now, we're almost at stock height. We'll put the ring here for now, and that'll be more than fine. Damn, I didn't take off the nuts. They're right here. What am I doing with these nuts? I'll put them here. No, wait, they'll fall. I'll put them in my mouth. Well, yeah, at least I know where they are. What I'm doing is disgusting, damn. No, seriously, damn, don't do drugs. Just start a YouTube channel or something. No, that's not it. I picked the wrong one. The good one is the other. And...
You can imagine that in this kind of moment of obvious incompetence, the voiceover has to step in to fill in for Anthony, who talks about his life for 13 minutes and 14 seconds, while he grabs the right shock absorber. Then, he hesitated for an uncountable amount of time over the air hose, because he was scared it would bend or it would leak, like an idiot. Then, he finished the assembly by connecting the air hose, thanks to the strut's very clever quick connect fitting, before running into a problem.
Well, it's time to put the sway bar link back on, but actually no, because it's way too long. The advantage of the adjustable struts is that you can adjust the height, but the problem is that now that's no longer possible. So what's really cool with the kit is that it gives you this thing. You can make your own custom length sway bar link, and that's really cool. So, well, I'm gonna do that now, right? That's done. The driver's side is completely finished. For the sway bar link, it wasn't that complicated. It took some time to make the right adjustments, find the right length, and repeatedly assemble and disassemble it. But it's done, and honestly, it's super sexy. You see, this is the little sway bar link that you can unscrew, screw back in, really make it the length you want. Here, it fits perfectly. I'm really happy. I'm definitely going to do the other side. Now that I've finished this side, I think the other will be quicker. Honestly, maybe I'm just tired, but this took me 2 hours. Second front side, done, finished. The whole front axle is finished. I took Spanish as my 8th foreign language. So now, I'm really happy because there are only the 2 rear airbags left to install, which shouldn't be too complicated. On the other hand, I'm a bit annoyed because I already removed the rear panels to run my wiring and went through the trouble of reassembling everything once I finished. But I didn't think that the top of the rear shock absorbers was most likely in the rear fender, so behind the trunk panel. I'm not gonna lie, it's like 4:08 in the morning. I'm starting to get a bit tired, but at the same time I'm thinking, wait, we're actually really close to the goal now. So, should I just take off the rear wheels? Should I remove the panels? Should I just get it done once and for all? It would be a shame to go to sleep now. You have to sweat. As you can see, the light has already changed. Why? It's 7:45. I still haven't slept. I had a period for about 2 hours where I was really very tired, and now again, bam, a burst of energy. So I think I'm done, at least the temporary setup. We're pretty familiar with temporary setups, right? Why do I say temporary? Because in theory, it's the final setup, but maybe there are some leaks. I suggest we reconnect the battery and see what happens. So for the back, I didn't film anything. I was really fed up. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning. I couldn't take it anymore. But anyway, I did it. For me, that's cool. Temporary setup because the board is missing. After changing the shock absorber, nothing was reassembled and I didn't return my cloth. That's it. Blue hose, I think it doesn't really match the rest. So I'm going to find some hoses in a more discreet color, you know, like black. That's very good, for example, at least for the trunk area, just to make it look nice. I also disconnected the whole original air system. I'll most likely have a warning light on the dashboard and the famous Mercedes era Airmatic my ass, you know? Now it's time to get in the car and turn the ignition key to see what happens. It could be that everything blows up, man. It could be that the fittings explode. It could be, I don't know, you know? Listen, I'll put you on the tripod and you'll be able to watch the little airbag work quietly while I turn on the ignition.
We're now entering a part of the video where fatigue mixes with the air. Since the chemical formula for fatigue is unknown, mixing it with air is strongly discouraged. Anthony tinkered with his awesome RWVP air system, and then a feeling of confusion set in, because after lowering the car, he pressed the different preset buttons, and nothing happened. Mystery, and a whole lot of nothing.
Hold on, man. I just figured it out. I was waiting for it to do things on its own, but guys, that's not possible. The car can't do things on its own. Nothing is programmed. Hold on. Come on, guys. So cool, man. Oh. Yeah, I got how it works. Okay. And that's where I'm going to start making my adjustments to drive on the road. But then there will be a little adjustment to do on the rear coilovers so that it's at the height I want, and the same in the front. At the highest setting, it works for me like before since it's the original height. The issue is that we're fully inflated. So we should go for a drive, but there's a chance it could be really very stiff. Because when the airbags are fully inflated, you know, it's like when you take a balloon, you blow it up all the way, you hit it, and it's hard as a rock. I'm really the king of fools. Look, my jack is under the hitch. That means if I get back in, if I lift it up, I can remove the jack, and we'll see how much it drops in the back. I thought it was lowered, but the car isn't lowered. My man. I feel like that's really what... I feel like crying. I made a Photoshop. It looked exactly like that. Damn, I feel like dying. It's incredible. No, guys, seriously, what the hell is this? A few days have passed. I'm really happy. This is Garrett, nicknamed Garritos. He's a Garritos. He's an old man. He's really sweet. We're going to put both paws on. I get to use both paws. And Archie will be jealous, huh? So what was I saying? So I've driven a few hundred kilometers with the car. It's time for the debrief. So first of all, let's be honest. In terms of street cred, the car just gained 45 points of street cred. Really? That's exceptional. I'm no longer driving at the original height. This is now my driving height. It's more than enough to turn the wheels while still being safe, you know, without tearing off the fenders or anything. Even when cornering, I've driven on the highway. I've done everything you can think of. Look, he's happy. There wasn't even any need to pull the fenders. Honestly, the fit is freaking perfect. I'm really happy. I'm really satisfied. So yeah, just in terms of street cred, the car is a gem. Now, in terms of handling, yeah, well, I went into this with absolutely no preconceived notions, since in my life, I've only driven stock cars and cars with crappy coilovers. Let's just say I wasn't exactly in the best position to make a fair judgment, and in this case, I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't expecting it to be comfortable, I wasn't expecting it to be stiff, I wasn't expecting anything. Turns out it's almost comparable to stock. Of course, there are still a lot of adjustments I can play with to really get the perfect balance. It's a bit stiffer than stock. But already, I guess it's because, well, we switched to 4 new shock absorbers, whereas the ones I had before, I don't know how many miles they had on them. Even if they didn't show any defects during the inspection, I really don't know. So the car is a bit stiffer. It's not a big deal, barely noticeable. I'm just sharing how it feels. After that, I can adjust the shock absorber's stiffness with the front and rear adjustment knobs. I can adjust the pressure in the air springs because the less they're inflated, the more comfortable and softer it will be. In this case, I just want something good that lets me drive low without hitting my fenders on bumps or corners. I think I've found the right balance, so I'm really happy. Now let's talk about the downsides, because even though the person who sold me this kit is someone I know, I'm not going to say everything is great and perfect. No, it's not. Alright, first of all, sorry to the drama lovers, but no, there won't be any drama, because the main issues with the air kit are simply that it works with air. So, yes, you have a compressor that will turn on from time to time once you empty the tank, and it makes noise. It's louder than the original, because originally, the compressor is under the chassis, much smaller, and there's no tank. Here, you need to fill a tank, so obviously that requires more power, and well, there are leaks. But that, I want to tell you, is completely normal, 100%. The setup has been there for 3 days, 4 days. Yeah, I drove with it for 3 or 4 days. Yes, when I went to sleep and found my car the next morning, it wasn't always at the same height. On the first day, all 4 airbags were on the ground. Very simple, there were leaks at the 4 fittings on my management system in the back. It just wasn't tight enough. So, I solved this first problem by tightening the 4 fittings on the management system a little bit. And since then, I haven't had any more leaks. At least, not at that spot. The tank still manages to empty itself overnight though. That's completely normal, since on the tank, you have 7 holes in total. Even if there are plugs that don't lead anywhere, well, the plugs can leak if they're not tight enough. So in this case, that's still happening. I have to disassemble the 7 fittings, reapply Teflon tape, tighten them, and repeat until there are no leaks. It takes time and is a hassle. I don't feel like doing it, but believe me, it has to be done. It's just a normal part of installing an air suspension kit. And now, since I readjusted my 2 front shock absorbers, because as you might have seen in the clips carefully edited by Constant just before, the front is much lower once it's deflated. By the way, let me show you a bit because it looks cool. Yeah, look. I'm lowering the front suspension to 0 psi and the rear suspension to 0 psi. So I lowered the front. To lower the front, I had to disconnect the 2 small air hoses on each side so I could turn the coil over and lose about 2 centimeters. This allows the front to have the same height as the rear, which means it's on the ground. You see, really, there's no in-between here, it's on the ground. So yeah, I'm really happy. It gives me a fit that's just awesome. So the front wheel rubs a little bit, meaning it goes a bit into the fender. That will be fixed with some negative camber and a spacer. For now, it's working fine for making adjustments. And at the back, we have the same fitment, which is absolutely crazy. And it looks really good. So the purpose of the air suspension on the car is not at all to drive like this. Honestly, I would tear everything off. That's not the point at all. The goal is simply to have the height I want with decent comfort. Because slamming a car like this, a family car, a road car on 4 coilovers, when it's not even a powerful car, it bothered me a bit because I would gain rigidity and lose comfort. Really not cool. A big advantage, which I may have already mentioned, is that with my tow hitch, I can add more pressure in the back and create a trailer-specific preset. That's really great. I'll show you anyway, what it looks like in the front when you take it apart, so you can see the leak. Once the wheel is removed, it's really simple. You take a little spray like this with soapy water. Here it's dish soap and water, you see, just like that. Well, here you can see the leak. You see, it makes a bubble. So I think we have a leak at the junction between the fitting and the shock absorber. If I add a bit more, what happens? That's it, it's up there. It's really simple. A size 12 wrench, and I'll tighten the fitting until no air escapes. Which actually, a tiny leak like that means that in the morning my car will be on the ground. So basically, what I just did on the front left to be safe, I'm going to do on all 4 shock absorbers to reduce all 4 leaks by a certain percentage. I'll handle it and then show you something interesting to finish the video. I think you'll like it. Damn, Saturday, July 12th, 2:37 in the morning. The video is technically coming out tomorrow, and now that's it. I'm proud of myself and I'm happy with what we did in this video. I'm not gonna lie to you, how can I put this? Originally, this shoot was supposed to be an easy one because for me, putting 4 wheels on a car and installing 4 shock absorbers on a car is easy. At worst, how long would it have taken me if I really pushed it? 4 days? No, not at all, really not at all. Installing an air suspension kit, honestly, it was a pain, a real pain in the neck. On the other hand, I can say that now I have a car that suits me 4000%, and it makes me super happy to have done it with my own 2 hands. I can't feel the tips of my fingers anymore from tightening and loosening those little pneumatic fittings. I'm exhausted, but damn, it's beautiful. No, but look, I want to do it one last time. Look. No, but... damn, this is amazing. I'm not gonna say it's my dream car because that's not the case. I never dreamed of an E-Class wagon on air suspension when I was a kid, no, but damn, I have a car that suits me. That's it, an exceptional ride that fits me. I'm really happy. We saved a taxi from the scrapyard, bought it for 3,700 euros at an online auction without seeing it. I took a plane with my temporary license plates. I went up to Hamburg and picked up that damn taxi. By the way, there's a detail I've never shown you, but this was in the glove box. And that, man, for me, that's really something. I'd love to find the taxi's previous owner who drove it 500,000 kilometers and show him it's still running. He probably got the new Mercedes E-Class or a more recent, more comfortable model, or maybe he retired, I don't know, and his car still exists. His car went to Poland, his car went to the Nürburgring, his car is... Damn, it's crazy. I'm so happy. Yeah, and I also wanted to show you something. Because that's it, I think we can say that the setup is finished. Yeah, damn, but it's so beautiful. It was really worth all the hard work. Like this, we'll make a black 3D printed cover, we'll put velvet on it, it will be invisible. Over there, I'll likely hide the wires. It looks awesome though. A few small rails, each a meter long, are left to cover the remaining wires. But damn. With that, guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate at all to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. I pulled 2 all-nighters for you, for this car. I'm really happy, but I'm very tired. You won't hear from me for at least 2 days. So, sending you big hugs. I wish you a very good evening, a very good day, a very good morning. I'll see you very, very soon on YouTube. And if you're not following me on Instagram, anthony.pdlv, I share a bit of all the backstage stuff with you, sometimes even things in advance because I forget to hide them. So, there you go. Anyway, with that, a big thank you to everyone. Big hugs to everyone. The car? No, but the car. The car.